Hi, Bernardo. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Liveabroad, about living and working in Portugal. And you are the first expert in your domain. We welcome you, and we like you to introduce yourself, of course.
Sure. So I'm really excited to be here to share my experience and knowledge with your channel and your broadcasting channel. So I'm here to share my expertise in real estate and how the real estate market operates here in Portugal. So hopefully my insights can share some knowledge to your expats community coming to Portugal and hopefully to help them out doing the right steps.
Okay. And do you mostly work with international buyers or with Portuguese
Yeah,
clients?
mainly I work with international buyers. I do it. I'm a team with my wife, Diana. She's mainly focused on sellers, homeowners in this case,
Okay.
and I
All right.
mainly operate with international buyers. Of course, sometimes I work with Portuguese buyers, of course, or Portuguese sellers, but my main focus is buyers coming
Yeah.
from abroad to
Yeah, from
Portugal.
the road. And I suppose a lot of English people, American people,
The main
and Dutch
market
people,
will be Dutch,
yeah,
Americans,
right,
Canadians,
yeah,
Brazilians, French, and some Italians time and time again.
okay, and not Belgian like me. No, okay,
I never had a Belgian client before.
yeah,
Never.
I can be the first, eh? Okay,
Yeah, you can be the first.
yeah. Well, how would you describe the current property market in Portugal?
So the market in Portugal is quite active, as you've seen on the news, and as you can see, even where you live nowadays, you live around Tomar area, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so you can see a lot of houses being sold. So the market is really busy right now. The
mm-hmm.
main focus areas are, of course, as you understand, the coastal areas from
Yes,
north to south of Portugal. But we've been also looking at inland properties as an investment or as a retreat for certain types of clients that
mm-hmm.
want to buy in
Yeah,
more rural areas. They don't need that much access to services like healthcare, schools, because they don't have young kids
right.
anymore. So those kind of
Yeah,
clients are looking to relocate inland.
yeah, yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
And yeah, can you say there are specific regions that are particularly popular right now?
Okay.
You
The
already mentioned
the
you.
Yeah, so the main regions where clients focus the most are Lisbon, the capital,
Yeah.
of course, Cascais, being so close to Lisbon, and being a seafront villa. It's also very interesting for a lot of the expats community.
Mm-hmm.
All of the small towns in between Lisbon and Cascais are also on the focus. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
the Algarve. It's always been a point of interest to a lot of, especially English clients, Brits.
Mm-hmm.
And Porto is now coming up more as
Mm-hmm.
an investment opportunity. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of the regions across the country will be interesting, of course, depending on the type of the client, what the client really wants. And that's
Okay.
basically the first step. Understand the client's needs, what they want, what they need in terms of
Yeah.
property or the adjoint services around the area they will choose to live in,
Yeah.
and we will go from there. But Lisbon will always be number one,
Yeah.
being the capital and the strongest real estate market in Portugal.
And what do you consider as the buying process in Portugal? What does the buying process in Portugal look like?
Okay, so for an expat, the
Yeah.
buying process can be a bit tricky or troublesome. The first thing, and the most important thing is to choose where you want to be in. Okay, there are a lot of trending locations, and sometimes those trending locations, as we see, for instance, on Facebook, expat groups on Facebook, those trending locations may not be the best ones for a certain type of clients. So it's very important first to choose a person to work with, a real estate agent. There are several thousands on the Portuguese market, as you know, but it's very important to choose someone that you can really connect, that can really hear you and what's your wants and needs, and is willing to do the extra mile on your behalf. I've worked with several clients that bought their first property in Portugal and they never set foot here. They only came on the deed signing day and they only visited the property on that same day. The entire process was done online.
Yeah, really
it's very important
to have a connection and a link with the land, and with the country itself, of course.
Exactly. It's very important to choose the right person to work with you. Okay, it's very, very important. The buying process itself, it's basically the same throughout the world. You see a property, you like the property, you place an offer, you negotiate the offer, and then once the offer is accepted, we go through with the final preparations to finalize the deed buying process. In between those parts of the looking and the negotiation, it's very important also to work with someone that can first understand if the property is really worth that amount of money, that knows the market, and a person that works with a good legal team to check if every single document on the property is correct. So we don't buy a house, and when we are buying, for instance, detached villas in places further inland, that this will happen more inland. In Alentejo, for instance, a lot of properties, the paperwork, the house is bigger than it's registered on paper. So a lot of extensions were done to the house. If those extensions are not legalized, we can come to a situation where the city hall orders the new owner to demolish, and that's a big expense. So it's very important to understand the documents we are looking at, and we accompany ourselves with an excellent legal team from our agency. They will vet every single document. They will vet every single contract being drafted to purchase the house and the deed, so our client doesn't take a wrong step, doesn't make a wrong step in buying that property. If so, we will choose a different one as a better opportunity and a safer one, of course. The client is almost always the most important thing, the buyer. So he's in safe hands.
Hire a lawyer or not notary, you just said it, that the legal team is very, very important. To check all the documents.
Okay. So, working with expats over the last few years, there are two types of clients. One that already come with a lawyer, a lawyer that is providing services for them, and some of those clients don't have a lawyer yet. If the client already has a lawyer, a pre-selected lawyer, we work with that lawyer, hopefully to get things done properly. If the client doesn't have a lawyer, we can offer our legal team services from our agency at no fees, without any costs. The agency is paid for by the seller's commission, so the buyer won't have any legal expenses attached to the process. Or if the buyer feels more at ease getting an external lawyer, we also work with a very good lawyer She's also an expat, but of course it's accredited to work here in Portugal as a lawyer. And Luciana, in this case, she will help our clients throughout the entire process.
Okay.
But in this case, she will charge a fee.
Yeah.
The notary that you talked about, Rob, the notary in Portugal is someone that finalizes the deed itself. They won't provide any legal support in the buying process.
Yeah. Are you thinking about some additional costs besides the purchase price? I mean, we talked already about the lawyer, the extra service by a lawyer that has to be paid, of course. But are there other typical additional costs involved?
The only additional cost aside the price of the property are the taxes and the deed cost. The amounts will be around 7 to 8% of the total purchase price. There are no more hidden costs. There are a few agencies or agents that also charge a fee to the buyer, to the outside buyer, but I don't work with that. I work for free until the deed signing day. Basically. That's the way I work.
A fair way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, but there are some clients that are willing to pay a fee, a service fee, but I don't feel at ease charging that fee to a client beforehand. I prefer to establish a connection with the client and work from the ground up, and my payment comes when the client has actually purchased the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, clear. Foreigners, can they buy property without restrictions? Are there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So that's one of the biggest questions that we almost always get from an expat is, can we buy a property here in Portugal, or can we get a mortgage in Portugal? And the answer is yes, you can. Okay. Buying the property will only require two things. First, having the money, and the money can come from your own capitals or a mortgage. If you are an expat, typically mortgages are up to 70% of the purchase value. But if you have your own capitals, the only thing that will be required is first to get your fiscal number here in Portugal. And the second thing, very important, of course, is a bank account opened here in Portugal. And we also can provide that service. Yeah, a Portuguese bank account. It's very important because it's from there that the payment to the seller must be done, and the taxes. Okay, those are two requirements.
Yeah. Okay.
And sorry, Rob, I forgot to mention something. It's very important also. We also provide in our agency an accredited support to get a mortgage. They are Sophia, in this case, is our mortgage broker. She's accredited by the Bank of Portugal. And she, when the client needs, we will set them in touch. We will put them in touch together. And she will collect all of the financial details from the clients that our Portuguese banks will require to get the process going. And once everything is pre-approved, it's time to start looking for the perfect house for them.
Yeah.
And this process is free of any charges.
Yeah. Okay, very important. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Next thing that can be important, are there, let's say, typical points of attention when buying a house in Portugal? Versa buying it in Spain, for instance.
Okay.
But are the most important things to pay attention? when
The
buying a
Portuguese and
house?
the Portuguese or Spanish markets are very similar, and I will consider our process of buying a property here in Portugal very similar to, for instance, an American process of buying. Of course, a few states in the USA have different ways of working, but the majority of the states in the US work similar
Hmm.
to the Portuguese, and that's why
Okay.
Americans feel so at ease in buying in
Yeah, yeah,
Portugal
yeah.
because it's very, very similar the way we work, and our top agencies here in Portugal are all franchises of American companies, so they know
Yep.
them really well and they trust in us, for instance, in Century 21. But um, the the most important things to look when we are buying a property is something that is kind of a cliche. It's location, 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 location. That's
Is
the
the
most
economy
important.
stupid? No, it's the location
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
the location it's the most important thing,
yeah,
either in terms of investment, because you are making an investment, even though you are going to live on it, it's an investment that you might later on need to sell it. So it needs to be a good investment. And of course, all of the minor, some people consider them to be minor stuff, but it's the paperwork. It's very important to make sure that every single document on the house is correct
yeah,
because we don't want to set our clients into troubles in the future or
yeah,
to even fees or to even costs in the future, like fines from the public entities because
yeah.
the pool is not registered or there's an annex built, attached to the house that's illegal. So it's very important to make sure that what we are seeing, it's written on the paper, on the
Yeah.
documents. Okay, that's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What final piece of advice would you give to someone thinking about buying property in Portugal?
Okay, so first and the most important thing, um, choose where you want to be. Have a look. There are several expat groups on Facebook. There's a lot of information online. Study, have a look on everything that's written or said about the Portuguese market. And
Hmm.
afterwards, talk to someone that already knows the market. For instance, a fellow expat that's been through the process of buying a property here in Portugal,
Yeah.
get some insights on their experience in going through this buying process, and afterwards choose someone that you can really connect to here in Portugal to
Yeah.
help you navigate the real estate market. A realtor, it's very important to have a good real estate agent that focus on you and not on himself or herself.
Yeah.
That because you are the most important thing
Yeah.
and your safety. Okay, so
Okay.
that's basically the most important advice. Study,
Yeah.
learn as much as you can. Choose someone trustworthy of working with you,
Hmm.
and listen to their advice.
Yeah.
For instance, I visited some properties with an American couple between the area of Torres Vedras and Marinha Grande. So a long stretch of land. So we visited on one day 8 properties. I drove
Okay.
a lot of miles, a lot of
Great.
kilometers that day with them. And in the end of the day, they were divided into 2 or 3 properties, and being one of them, one property that they chose online. And when we went through that property, my only advice to them was we are looking at the property, although it's very well priced. It's in a
Hmm.
very, very small little village
Hmm.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it will become a niche product. So meaning to find in the future, if you want to sell the house, it will
Yeah.
be very hard to sell
Yeah.
because it's a
Location,
very
location,
niche.
location. Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they chose a different property very close, 10 minutes drive to the beach, 10 minutes drive to a big city. in a bigger village
Right.
close to Torres, and they've been living there for almost a year now,
Yeah.
and they love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah. You know,
And
I can, we, Natalie and myself, we live in near Tomar, Chaneka do Maciel, very
mhm.
small village, 5-6 kilometers from Tomar. But yeah, here are a few cafes, restaurants, but not much. So we also feel that in a very, very small village, without an ATM in the neighborhood,
There's no
well, it's
ATM,
not
there's no
so
banks, nothing.
agreeable. Sorry?
There are no ATMs, no services, no supermarkets.
Right.
It's very hard to navigate,
It's
and
very
no
hard,
public
yeah.
transport probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Bernardo, I have a very last question,
Uh-huh.
and it's important for our audience. Where can people find you, or reach
Mhm.
out if they have more questions?
Okay, so you can find me just Googling my name. My name is Bernardo Bleck, with an E in between the L and the C, and you will find my personal contacts. Or you can find me on social media. My name on Instagram is Bernardo Bleck underscore C21 underscore real estate.
Right.
So, and you can find us online, myself and my
Yeah.
wife. If you want to sell some property, you can talk with Diana, my wife. She will help you
Right.
out.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Very important to have this separation in the
Yes.
buying and selling process. For instance,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whenever we list a house, and some of my clients, my buyers, sometimes opt into start investing in units to later on resell, renovate, and resell. And when we come to that portion of the situation, usually it will be Diana representing the selling process, the
Yeah.
seller, because I will be usually doing the showings to potential buyers, and that way we will separate the interests. So
Yeah.
she will be representing the seller, I will be representing the buyer in this case, or another colleague of ours will be representing the buyer, and we
Mm-hmm.
will try, and I usually win, negotiating the best price for our buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will
Okay.
have some fights over the dinner table.
Of course. I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah, it's very
But
important to separate.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
But
very
very
important.
that kind of fights are that's good. It
Yeah,
keeps
those
you
kinds of fights are
your
good.
mind
Keeps
going.
us so Yeah, it
Yeah.
keeps us awake. So that's
Yes.
one
Yes.
of
Yeah.
almost the most important advices.
Yeah.
When looking into houses, buying a property, I see a lot of clients contacting directly the sellers or the seller's
Yeah.
representative. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
when we come to that situation, and I've been through there, I've been through that situation, representing both the seller and the buyer. We won't do a good job for either one of them because, as you know, the buyer wants to pay the least amount of money
Right.
possible, and the
Yeah.
seller wants to get the most
Yeah.
amount of money possible. So
Yeah.
if we are representing both of them, we will need to make a choice.
Yeah.
So it's very important, and Americans really comprehend this, and it's a mature market, for instance, and they usually work with a buyer's agent directly, not the seller's agent. They will have their own real estate agent working with them to negotiate the best property
Yeah.
and the best price possible. So that's a big advice to
Yeah.
any potential buyer,
Okay.
to have someone representing you and not the seller.
Yeah. Okay. That is all
Mhm.
clear. Bernardo, this is the end of our interview.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. And
You're welcome, Rob.
okay. And we see each other certainly somewhere
Yes,
else in the Portuguese sun. Yes.
Yes, we will. Have a good day.
All the best.
All the best. Bye-bye.